thought it was her too. She did a video the other day because people were asking what does she think after this meeting with Zelensky, the president of Ukraine, and Trump. And she said, this is the time to get some insurance. Insurance being rice, beans, canned foods, that dry food you were telling me about, paper towels, toilet paper, bottled water. Bitch, you better get some cash on hand, small bills, she said. I keep cash in the house, but I'm about to get some more cash.
I don't keep cash in the house.
Well, I do. You come over there if you want to, but you're going to get shot. But I got guns, too.
I don't keep cash in the house.
but like, when you think about what happened with COVID, similar things can happen. It can be harder to get things in, get supplies in. Especially if, because we don't know what, like, we get a lot of lumber from, I'm not going to scare you. No, but it's true. I just want to make you aware and prepare you. We get a lot of lumber from Canada. What you think gonna happen if you need to buy furniture?
Greg, they screaming stop spreading fear. Are you not listening? How are we spreading fear, sweetheart?
So you want to be caught with your panties down?
So are we not listening to these people talk? And it's never them. They got bunkers and they got shit. Yeah. They got all this stuff already lined up.
When I tell you and my house is filtered. There's a whole water system that's filtered. The shower water, bitch, is filtered. But bitch, I've been buying water. I'm about to get me a generator. Like I told you. Yes, I'm about to get me a generator. But you do need to get you. I got black beans, kidney. Like I got canned good tuna fish, salmon, like shit. So that not just in anticipation of these prices, because bitch, if eggs is $15 to $20 across the country, here they're still about $5, right? But if eggs are $15, bitch, how much you think it's gonna be to wipe your ass? I got enough toilet paper to last me to 2029, and paper towels. I got trash bags, indoor trash bags.
Behavior last night, and if they think
kitchen and the big black trash bags for outside, you better get you a passport if you don't already have it.
Where you going?
Bitch, I'm a glue.
I gotta be. It just makes my water come down.
Right. Your water broke?
No.
Oh.
Not pregnant anymore. I lost that right. I'll get another one.
Minister that I was telling you about, she said it's time to create community. If you're not already in community, it is time to create community. Meaning, start to have
the EMP is out at sea, but get over to El Burro Heights first.
You need to have
there you can use this tender.
where you can share things. You might have to start sharing meals. You need to start living together. Because people are losing their jobs. I have friends who
Enjoy
work
this moment of
in the
calm
federal
before the
government.
storm.
Social
Be an
Security,
actual storm.
the
Great May
non-profit
weather out, but
organizations.
there'll probably be
And
explosions
they're
and
losing their
waves
jobs.
caused by things crashing
These
into the
people
sea.
have mortgages,
Hopefully
they
not
have
you
rent.
or this plane we're after.
Right?
Only the bad guys will crash into the sea. It'll be uplifting but traumatic as well. So,
So
yeah.
it is very, very,
Enjoy the calm.
communal living. That's exactly what I'm talking about.
Oh, no.
Communal living. You know what I mean? This is, I'm sure somebody will be trying to go pull up the thing and take the towels. I'll tell you, my friends are laughing at this. My friends have been laughing. But bitch, you got a fucking, you planning for the home get, you got a small house over your house. I got gallons of olive oil. I got $4 gallons of olive oil. That's what I do. I have gallons of vegetable oil. Toothpaste. Yeah. I got so much toothpaste, lunch detergent, fish water, soap, lotion, those essentials, those things that you're going to use, like deodorant and toothpaste, those are things that you know you're going to use. You need to go ahead and stock up on that stuff if you can. You know?
And get you the motherfucking job. That got goddamn patrol gun that got one of those laser beams on it.
Mm-hmm.
I got one that got laser beams on that bitch. I'm not missing nobody.
Yeah.
I ain't missing no fucking body.
Batteries, get you some batteries, different sizes for things in your house, flashlight.
Get you a satellite phone.
Because bitch, Canada was, I'm telling you, those border states, Michigan and the places up there, new parts of New York. I mean, Canada said he can fuck right up if he wants to, but they will cut the power out. And the governor of Maine said he can fuck around if he wants to, but they won't be. Maine won't be sending any federal taxes. But see, it would be a trickle effect because if, let's say, California did the same thing and other states started to do that, when we pay taxes, when that federal money goes in there, it also provides for police departments, hospitals, that kind. So that shit would be like, bitch, this place would be like baby. Like, I don't have. I might be saying you have to get something stuff because I don't have none of that. Bitch, we 20 minutes apart. I'm like, girl, you got, girl, ain't nobody drive. I got to run this over. Right. I know gasoline is gonna be expensive because if these other countries, to see what needs to happen is this, the way that you see these protests popping up around the country, right? Some of these countries are forming like Voltron against the United States. Yeah. So if we're getting resources from Canada, getting resources from Colombia, and Mexico, in London, you know, we getting things from different countries, and they decided they're not going to fuck with us to starve us out. Then what? I hope Denmark buys California. You know, it will be a trickle effect. So, like when it's like I know, like new mothers or people who have young children who need Pampers and baby formula. When that COVID shit happens, just talking about it. Yeah, I know. I know. Yeah, somebody just said here in New York, get out in Canada. And that's what I'm saying. That's why I'm going to say Canada already said this is such a power. You said they said all the stuff that you just said about when you're going to start to see a price increase this time. The price increase is about, yeah, by July. They would have moved through that whole book by July. So I saw something the other day, and they said, if you want to know, we've already seen what they've been doing up to this point, but if you want to know what's coming, go to the back of that book and read back so you can see what's coming down the pipeline. But see, here's what I think needs to happen, because there are judges that have told Trump there's something that and some of those people have left their jobs, but he's ignoring these letters from these judges, right? And of course, the president is the commander-in-chief, so he activates the army, the military. But what I'm saying is, the Democrats need to usurp the motherfucking Constitution. We know that there's protocol and order, but this is not working in order. So they need to abandon the motherfucking Constitution and get to the military and say, look here, bitch, we got to pull him up out of here. But you know why? The real reason why that all of this is going on, because a lot of those Democrats feel under the power of the lobbyists, and they took money as well. Yeah, tax money. Somebody said eggs in Jersey are $15. Bitch, I wouldn't eat another egg. Yeah. But they took money too. They took money for me to stop standing here or sitting here in this whole thing, completely blaming the Republicans when the Democrats also assisted in a lot of these things too. Because this is a unison. If you only see 9, 10 people out of how many? It's 100, right? 2 from each. What is 100 what? I mean, it's 2 from each. There's a Republican and a Democrat from each state, right? So there's 50 states. It's 100, right? Well, I mean, in Congress, am I right? I think it depends, because I think that some states do have more representatives. But here's the thing. 100 senators. Somebody said 100 senators. Yes, I was right. It was 100. So here's the thing. Every civilization has only lasted for about 250 years. You understand what I'm saying? So like every dynasty? Every dynasty has only existed or lasted
for every empire, like the Roman Empire.
Correct. About 250 years. The United States democracy is 248 years old. So they're saying this is around the time, based on other dynasties, other governments, it's probably going to turn. Yeah, the U.S. is close to crumbling. But there are midterm elections coming up, and it is so important.
We need to be vigilant, Craig. Listen, like we need to be more vigilant than we were
in the
primary.
Yes.
We need to be more vigilant, more. And we need to be reminding. We need to keep all these things to remind them. Oh, we got to keep a folder on the computer. We got to keep reminding these people of why. You know what I'm saying? And everybody's so blinded about, like that bitch on the Twitter right now, sitting up here celebrating what they do in the training in the Iowa. This dyke bitch. And it's like, bitch, you were never next. You were always on the list. Fuck next. Everybody said they're going to go after them first. And then you were on the list.
Right.
It's not next.
Speaking of, they're talking about reversing Loving versus Virginia. You know what Loving versus Virginia is? That's right. So they started with the trainees and gay stuff. And now they're talking about reversing the Supreme Court ruling, Loving versus Virginia, and they gave permission to interracial couples to be married. They're about to reverse gay marriage. They're working on that now. The people writing in there about the Roman Empire for 600 years, I said generally speaking, while you're trying to fact check me. On average, 250 years. Pay attention. Stop trying to correct me.
They were letting you know that they all think.
Girl, were they not listening? Fuck.
Oh. Why did y'all both do that?
Oh my God!
Why did y'all both do that?
That's great. Break the story down, because it's
point where I think they want to incite violence. They want to incite protests so that they have an excuse to invoke what Donald Trump wanted to invoke.
Oh my God! I didn't even know that was coming.
This Negro.
Oh dear God!
I'm sorry. I wasn't expecting that. I wasn't expecting that reaction.
He was making so many horrible things, posts and stuff on Instagram and social media in general. Like here, he says, "I'll kill for her. I'll kill about her, and I ain't scared to say I'll die about her." Well, she killed him. Supposedly, she was cleaning her gun, and it accidentally went off.
After she came home from the club drunk.
Right. She came home from the club drunk. You got that little video of her at the club. Oh, it's music. Oh, I thought it was muted. Oh. Yeah, so she was at the club, throwing them back. And then supposedly she was, and I think that may have been a crafted alibi. So people could say, well, no, she was just at the club and, she did have a few drinks. But he was writing some of the most horrible things. Is that one of them?
Yeah.
Most horrible things about black women, about he would never want to have sex with a black woman, and how he would have a sex with a dog. Yes, I'll fuck a dog before I fuck a black bitch, and it got to be a white dog.
Oh my God! He said those.
Yes.
Okay, I hate to say this. I hate to ask this question.
Go ahead.
Why are we here?
That's what I'm saying. Well, his family went online, particularly his brother, and I think there was a GoFundMe or something set up where they were trying. And it's like, well, why are you telling us? And it's like they want black folks to rally around to make sure justice
this is it
prevails. It's like, well, why are you coming to us?
It's something.
Why are you coming to us?
Ready yet, but I wanted to.
And speaking of justice prevailing, Trump actually stopped all of those those cases that the Department of Justice was working on, where unarmed black people were killed, like Breonna Taylor, et cetera, et cetera. He didn't suspended all of those.
Cover the upfront costs.
All of those cases.
Price of getting a look at you, and there's no risk to you, unless, of course, you count getting locked up or shot. So, you ready? What do you think? You, questions, comments, concerns? All right. What are you waiting for? Let's go see this place.
That's what I'm not doing. Thank God. What a waste of my time. For my car to just be like right in the middle of the thing, bitch.
You look amazing. Let's hang out soon.
Fuck, man. What you do? Bitch, I would too. I'm not doing that. What are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing?
for calling back. Hey, son. Well, my I dropped my not for hurry. I picked up the baby powder for your training. Hello there.
This has gotta stop happening.
Yes, yes, this will do very nicely. Very nice place you've got. Very chic. Nothing like a bourgeois bank robber to remind me of how strange Los Santos has become. In my day, the psychos at least had the dignity to be psychotic. Nowadays, it's all about home furnishings and going straight. All right, you ready? Because this is it. Well, it's not it, but it's something very big. It's not quite ready yet, but I wanted to see how you're doing. What I've got is a Fleesa Bank franchise. And it's nothing too complicated. There's no buy-in. Now, normally, there would be a buy-in. You would put in money up front, we would arrange the job, and you would pull it off. But this time, I'll cover the upfront costs. Call it the price of getting a look at you. And there's no risk to you. Unless, of course, you count getting locked up or shot. So, you ready? I mean, what do you think? You have questions, comments, concerns? All right. What are you waiting for? Let's go see this place.
Boom. Bitch, that's two in like less than 15 minutes, bitch. Fuck that. That's what I'm talking about.
Okay. So, are you ready? This should be pretty easy. I've kept it simple since you all seem pretty simple in a good way. In a good way. In a good straight ahead, low IQ kind of. Oh no, that's stop it. Stop it. It's the new meds. Okay, armed robbery. Here we go. Whew. Here it is. Keep it simple. You go in heavy, you go in well armed. Some of you will do crowd control. The vault team will go downstairs, blow the first vault door with the thermal charges. Then use the card to get into the network and open the second vault door. And then look out, because you'll have about 2 minutes before every cop in town is waiting for you outside the bank. So you move fast. You get on the bikes, you split, and then we meet at the rendezvous point, okay? Good luck, people. Nothing can go wrong. It's all good. I'm all good. Hey there, man. How are you?
That car.
Oh.
Not you.
That's what kind of.
Ew.
Question that everybody had during the time, or the statement.
Yeah.
And the statement was, but the Constitution.
But the Constitution.
And we said, then he is a convicted felon. They've already usurped.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. I think we talked about this at a live show, but Trump.
That would have been a disaster. This is doable. This is doable.
Call it the 1-800-DOGE hotline. Republicans demand Elon Musk keep them in the loop on government cuts, but will Musk giving them his digits be enough to give them some sway? Plus, President Trump's trade wars take another wild turn. Now, markets and frankly Americans are trying to figure out exactly what comes next. And Target becomes, well, a target for rolling back DEI programs. So why is it facing boycott when other companies are not? One faith leader heading the charge is my guest tonight on Laura Coates Live. So Elon Musk has a message for Republican lawmakers. Call me. Call me on my cell phone. The Doge leader making the rounds on Capitol Hill tonight, he didn't bring his cost-cutting chainsaw, but he is handing out his personal number to Republican senators who are worried that his government cuts are getting too close to the bone.
Yes. Something,
I figured that one out. Now, the beef between the world's richest man and nervous Republicans isn't a clash of egos or some kind of political pissing contest, but many GOP lawmakers, they are hearing a lot from their angry constituents. They have to answer for Musk. They want to make sure they know what's being asked. Some are pushing for a law that will codify the cuts. We're also hearing from one GOP congressman tonight who says Musk told House Republicans that he has no involvement in the firings of federal employees.
So the people, when they cut off they got rid of all the probationary guys, that wasn't a Doge decision. I did not know that until this evening.
They were not involved.
No, the individual departments were. And so the assumption was made by the Doge guys that the departments would know the right people, who are being unproductive, and reward the people that are being productive. But apparently they just took the departments, not Doge, just said everybody that's not been here for a year is gone.
Assume. My dad always told me when you assume, you make an ass out of you and me. Huh. For people getting fired, it probably doesn't matter who's actually handed the pink slip or who it is that's handing it out. Take the VA, where more than 70,000 jobs are on the chopping block, according to a memo obtained by CNN, of course. Now, while the Trump administration is forging ahead with cuts, the president is hitting the pause button on part of those 25% tariffs on all goods from Canada and also Mexico. Specifically, they won't apply to car makers for the next 30 days. Now, a reminder, this is after he first announced tariffs on Mexico and Canada last month, only then paused them for 30 days, just 2 days later. They officially went into effect yesterday, and now we're at this new month-long pause for car makers. And the constant on and off again, it's made the markets look like a bit of a roller coaster. The Dow was in a tailspin for the first 2 days of this very week. After the auto exemptions were announced just yesterday, well, Trump might phrase it something like green, baby, green. We know the president is fixated on how his policies are impacting the markets. A source telling us that Trump says he was paying close attention yesterday, and the tumble was a jolt inside the West Wing. During the whiplash, the kind of now you see them, now you don't tariffs have always been pretty dizzying for our allies. Take Canada, for example.
As far as I'm concerned, the tariffs are still on. We will not relent. And I apologize to the American people. It's not your fault. There's one person, again, to be blamed, and that's President Trump.
Unpredictability is one of Trump's trademarks. So is using leverage to get exactly what he wants. There's a lot at stake. Prices for American consumers, the health of the economy, how other countries perceive the United States. And the question tonight, is it a winning strategy or a gamble that could backfire? With me now, Michael Schnell, congressional reporter for The Hill, Brad Todd, CNN political commentator and Republican strategist, and CNN political commentator Karen Finney also here as well. Michael, let me turn to you because the GOP is pushing back on these Doge cuts. Are they upset or taking issue with the cuts themselves or the process to actually have these cuts?
I think it's certainly a little bit of both, particularly in that Senate GOP meeting this morning. Some of these Republican senators had raised concerns about the communication process. A lot of folks felt like they were caught off guard by a number of these cuts. Susan Collins said that herself last week, saying it's something new every day. That's what led to that phone number being given out to those Republican senators. So I think strategy on one end is the problem. But on the other end, some lawmakers are raising concerns about the substance. I spoke to Congressman Congressman Derek Van Orden, who you just saw on your screen before, a Republican from Wisconsin. He said that he raised concerns in the House GOP meeting with Elon Musk tonight about the impact that some of these cuts could have on farmers and veterans. So it's both strategy and substance, again, as Elon Musk is really going full steam ahead with this effort to reduce the size and scope of the federal government. He's admitting some mistakes, and some Republicans are keeping him accountable.
And there was that point, Brad, about whether he was the one firing people or not. And I have to say, I mean, I don't think people thought that Elon Musk was personally firing individuals, but it was the directives of sorts or a pressure campaign. Can he really escape the blame for that or the accountability? Is it really such an epiphany to the for the Republicans?
I think he's going to take plenty of credit when this is all over with. And last night you see the polls quickly about the State of the Union. 60% of the American public likes what President Trump had to say about cutting waste, fraud, and abuse and reducing the size of government. You know, the cuts we mentioned there to the Veterans Administration, for instance, we're just talking about going back to the size the department was in 2019. Every American company has shrunk over the years due to waste and fraud and abuse and efficiency measures. I think the regular taxpayers think that it's past time for us to reduce the size of government in Washington. And while there certainly are going to be some mistakes made, as he admits, and they're going to have to correct some of those things, I just don't think that the voters are going to be upset that they see people in Washington finally trying to shake things up.
I think everyone agrees with the premise of they don't want fraud and they don't want waste. I think that the difference is in the execution.
Oh, 1,000%. And let's talk about what's happening at the VA. I mean, 9 million veterans in this country get either mental or physical health care from the Veterans Administration. My own father actually had his cancer diagnosis from his VA doctor, who said to him in 2016, you got to go see an outside doctor because if you wait, you'll be dead before we get to you. And if you think about the expansion from 2019 to today, it's because of the PACT Act. 740,000 veterans signed up for health care. Why? Because of burn pits, something President Biden knows something very personally about, but also covering healthcare services going back to the Vietnam era where we have veterans who are still suffering injuries around having been exposed to Agent Orange. So this is exact kind of underscores that point, right? It's the why that actually matters. It was the expansion of services to cover more veterans. And in fact, over the last 10 years, one of the efforts that the VA has been undertaking is to reach out to more veterans to make sure they know these resources are there. And what's interesting, this is where I think the tension is really hitting. Part of the reason that they've sort of kind of taken a step back and said some of these things are going to be reevaluated over the summer is the recognition that VA groups across the country, and we're talking about in our own network, we've seen Republicans who voted for Trump pushing back, saying, this is not what I voted for. And I think that's the pressure that some of these Republican members are feeling. They're like, wait a second, look, Karen,
I have to ask you that. And you know, I respect your mind so much, and I'm not meaning this in any way. Why are the Democrats not as effective as you just now articulating a reason and a counter? I mean, that's what baffles a lot of people. The points that she's raised are cogent. They are sound.
I would push back a little bit. The PACT Act, Karen's right about the PACT Act with the burn pits. That is partly responsible for the VA's added responsibilities. But that's not all. Joe Biden added plenty of bureaucrats to the VA department. They found $3 billion in consulting contracts, $2 million for organizational training culture.
Well,
I mean, we can get rid of a lot of that stuff.
But that math isn't mathing because actually even I looked at a defense publication that talked about actually when you go into the math on some of that, we're talking about actually part of those contracts are about actually people sort of assessing disability, which is all about whether or not you're going to actually get access to health care, and that's going to impact the rest of your life. It's actually about cancer diagnosis. I mean, those contracts, like we've seen, frankly, with Doge, when you click in and really look at what they do, again, it's taking the chainsaw versus saying, let's take a beat. And look, I think they did the right thing in that they're slowing it down. And that's the thing they should be doing across the federal government.
Are you telling me, though, we can't cut waste out of the Department of Veterans Affairs?
Absolutely not. But you know where they could have started?
Doing it.
But you know where they could have started? Instead of firing the IG, how about starting with the IG report where he had identified $45 million in potential cuts. They just fired him.
Where's the Democrat proposal to shrink the government and to get rid of federal employees?
because
Where's
even
the proposal?
even we're not in charge. Y'all are in charge. And even Republicans said, hold on, even Republicans said today to Musk, hey, you know, if you want to make this the force of law, we're going to have to do. You're going to have to bring us in. We're going to do this through rescissions. I don't think they're going to get the 50 votes from Republicans, and I don't think they think they're going to get a majority of Republicans in the House for some of these.
Well, you know what? There is support in other areas, and that has been a big area, Michael, is on tariffs in particular, right? The idea of people agreeing with the premise of the United States consumers being able to benefit from what products are on, but of course the mechanism of doing so, Trump has been dialing back yet again on tariffs after there was pressure from the automakers. Evaluate how members of Congress are viewing his tariff strategy. Is this politically sound? There's a lot of pushback.
I think we're going to hear from a lot of Republican lawmakers who say this is part of President Trump's strategy. He threatens to put tariffs on the table. He puts down A, B, and C of things he wants to be accomplished, and he uses it as a negotiating tactic. But as we see some of these tariffs on Mexico and Canada start to go into effect, the prices and the stock market changes are going to be difficult for Republican lawmakers to defend up on Capitol Hill. We always say it's the economy, stupid. It always comes back to the numbers. Republican lawmakers, we're already seeing it, are heading back to their hometowns. They're having these town halls, and I suspect they're going to get an earful from some of these constituents when they see the stock market tumbling and they see prices continuing to decrease because of these tariffs. Now, that could be difficult in the interim, but I think a lot of Republican lawmakers are still going to want to stay with the argument that this is all part of the process. It's going to take a little pain so they get the benefit.
That was the point that Trump made last night. A little bit of discomfort. Is that going to carry water?
This is a balancing act for Donald Trump. There's certainly risks with tariffs. There are risks that prices could go up. There are risks that instability could cause problems in the business cycle. But there's also a lot of value in it. You've already seen Honda Civic, for instance, Honda Motor Company's now going to make their Civic Hybrid in Indiana and not Mexico. Apple's now decided they're going to have $500 billion of new factories in the United States. These are direct results of the threat of tariffs. Trump is trying to reset the corporate mindset of where you manufacture things and force companies to pull as much as possible back to the United States. The threat of tariffs can be a very good tool of that, but there is certainly risk if he goes too far with on again, off again on some instability. But I don't think you can rule out the fact that this will have a positive impact. I mean, currently right now, if you're in the American lumber business, you think Canada's duties on lumber are way too high. If you're in the dairy business, you think their duties are way too high. So a threat of Canadian tariffs might cause some recalibration of that. There's a lot of value to it if you play the game right.
I think that just politically, look, the rubber is meeting the road with the American people, and that it doesn't matter whether you're a Democrat or Republican. That's where we're going to figure out whether or not this is politically smart or not, because part of the pressure Republicans are actually.
Purged all of those Epstein files where he was named in those things of sexually assaulting women and all that stuff with Jeffrey Epstein. Like, it's like, what is really happening? Like, this is insane.
We know what's happening, Craig.
Yeah.
It's happening and unfolding in front of our very eyes.
Mm-hmm.
And so again, we asked about the Democrats, we asked about this, we had everybody received it.
Yeah. Yeah.
The people that are going to suffer are the people, are the small people.
Mm-hmm.
And it's frightening. I was talking to G yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
No, what's
What now?
life in a jar. All this for the Pacific Standard Fine Wood? It ain't worth it. Not even for the Union Depository. I haven't spent this long in another person's company since that owl died last spring. Man, he cooked good. Left me alone. I didn't do anything. I was pruning the bush, not exposing myself in it. I built their receivers. You can hear me now, can't you, you fucking jackass?
You gotta drop the heat before you meet Paige.
I'd take road juice and trash juice over IAA mind control drugs any day. I would.
Get off.
I should have stuck my head out. No, it was cool. Don't answer the phone to Lester Crest. All right, all right. Let's go. Let's get out of here. I see. I don't like it! No, no, no! That's why I don't fly. Look out! Make it stop! That's why I don't fly. Agent! You're an agent! Damn! Look out! Now they're after you too! They're after all of us! We should go to this. Burn brain! What would you? That's why I don't fly. Look out! All this for the Pacific Standard Finewood? It ain't worth it. Not even for the Union Depository. Agent! You're an agent! Shoot me in the head before they take me. You gotta destroy the brain, or they'll bring it back to life in a jar. I haven't spent this long in another person's company since that owl died last spring. Man, he cooked good.
It's always just not fun.
And insofar as he sees it as an obstacle, Ukraine and its president exists to be punished and abased. And that I think is going to continue for the foreseeable future.
If the administration claims that they are only trying to get negotiation and leverage to end the war in Ukraine, we'll see it continue to evolve. I want to turn to Gaza. The administration is taking the unprecedented step of negotiating directly with Hamas to free the remaining hostages, usually against American policy, as you well know, to directly negotiate with terrorist organizations. But President Trump did this in the past with the Taliban, for example. Is this now the new blueprint?
Well, I mean, he also put out on Truth Social a direct threat to Hamas and the people of Gaza, saying that, this is their last chance. They have to release the hostages and the dead bodies of the hostages that they've killed. Otherwise, the people of Gaza, they'll all be dead. I mean, this indicates one of two things. Number one,
I built their receivers.
The hell? Like, bitch, it was doing something.
يا جماعة الحين سوف يوم فطورنا شنو يوم أول يوم رمضان أول شيء نبلش نسوس اللحم هذا التشريبة مالتنا يا سلام هذا شنو هذا يريش هذا المكبوس اللحم وهذا البشاميل يا سلام يا سلام هناك المقبلات هذا فطور أول يوم رمضان يا جماعة الحين سوف يوم فطورنا شنو
One and only. Got pretty much everything in here. Hey, you know I grew up a couple blocks over from Franklin. Ain't such a small world, though. When I heard about this job, I pulled every string I had. Extra men are helping out a lot, boss.
Yeah, it's peaceful, man. I think
Yeah, that was me.
Crazy.
Oh, this is bad. This is.
Girl. No. going to say fruit candy.
Contra to what Trump and his officials are saying with respect to Russia, you can threaten an enemy in pursuit of diplomacy, if indeed diplomacy is what you're after. And number two, are we talking about the collective punishment of Palestinians if a terrorist organization refuses to play ball with the United States? Because it certainly sounds that way to me, reading what Trump is putting out there. I'm frankly surprised there isn't more outrage at that statement, but then again, I think our standards are being lowered in fast and furiously all the time here, so maybe I'm behind the curve.
The threshold is indeed changed throughout the years. I'll give you that, Michael Weiss. Thank you so much.
Mm-hmm.
Next, paddles, pink, protest. Democrats' antics last night at their presidential address have a lot of people shaking their heads, including my next guest, Democratic Congressman Ro Khanna.
The following message will sweep you off your feet.
Are you still cleaning your floors with a broom and dustpan?
Or down on your hands and knees with paper towels.
Or dragging out your big, heavy vacuum?
Forget about it! George and Mary Beth back with another incredible invention.
It's the Zippy Sweeper, the rechargeable cordless sweeper that's lightweight and compact with an advanced triangular design.
Then we say to want to send that message to corporate America, and Target, because of its decisions already made, is a prime example.
There are other companies that have rolled back their policies. Target's not alone in this space. Why is Target the bullseye?
Well, we looked at different figures and all, and blacks contribute an overwhelming amount of funds to Target. And so Target becomes one of the better choices for us. That does not mean there will not be others added, but it means that Target is a good place for us to start and send the message. It's important to send the message.
It's only been about a day. I do wonder why the 40 days. That corresponds to something in particular, or that's just the key figure?
40 days really is a message as it relates to the Lenten season. Today is Ash Wednesday, the beginning of Lent. It reminds us, for example, of the 40 days with the children of Israel. So it's to send a message that this is not just about finances, but it's also about principle. It's also about justice. It's also about calling people to conscience. So it's trying to send a message that there's got to be something that we stand for, some principle we believe in.
There is a concern of prospective collateral damage on entities that are in support of what Target's rolling back. I want you to listen, Bishop, to a perspective that has been spoken about by Melissa Butler. Now, she happens to be one of the CEO of the largest black-owned makeup companies that actually is carried in Target. Listen to what she says.
Of course, we were disappointed, just like many of you, when we learned that they were rolling back their DEI initiatives. We do have power in our dollars. But I do want to make sure that we are aware that, by not shopping in these stores, you are also impacting the hundreds of Black-owned businesses and women-owned businesses and, brown person-owned businesses that are in these stores.
A double-edged sword. What's your reaction?
Well, let's deal with reality. We understand that there are Black vendors who are involved with Target. We've said to our people, and we've made a very strong point, that you can still shop with them online. You don't have to go in the store to support them. So support them online.
Well, what's the difference then, Bishop? If you're going to support them, the money goes to the same pot.
Well, no, because the fact of the matter is the arrangement that many of these vendors have with Target, those vendors benefit from their relationship with Target. And so we're not trying to destroy any of these Black businesses. But the second thing is, if we do nothing, then we say to the country, well, what they're saying really doesn't matter. We don't want to hurt anybody. We're not going to bother anybody. And the best thing to do is to do nothing, which I think is really hypocritical and foolish on our part.
Oh, I see. You're saying you could support the individual vendor online, but you're not going to Target.com and walking into the store. I understand. One of the things that this President Donald Trump has spoken about is about dismantling DEI more broadly. In fact, last night at his address to Congress, he expressed as much. Again, listen to this.
We've ended the tyranny of so-called diversity, equity, and inclusion policies all across the entire federal government and indeed the private sector and our military. The country will be one no longer.
Bishop, many are turning to their faith leaders to try to process moments like that. What are you telling them?
Well, the fact of the matter is they don't want us to be woke. They would prefer us to be ignorant. And the fact of the matter is the Black church has a responsibility to help our people not only to be awake, but to be informed and to know the truth. And the reality is all of this about diversity, equity, and all of that being bad for America. The fact of the matter is America's greatness comes because of its diversity. This stuff about make America great again, let's be blunt and honest. It's really about turning back time to a period when they thought America was great, when people of color and Blacks, you stayed in your place. As the president said, there are some Black jobs. Those Black jobs are menial jobs. We resent and we reject the inference that any Blacks who gets promoted is because of tokenism.
Isn't the case. As Nick Robertson is following all the developments from Brussels.
There's a lot of sort of mechanics that have to happen here, and this is one of the disadvantages for the European Union trying to respond to President Trump, who can make a decision and turn on a dime, and unexpectedly for the European Union, perhaps taking a tougher line on the lack of support that he is now giving Ukraine and the support that he is giving for conversations with President Putin. So the European Union is responding to that. What we heard from President Macron was a sort of a passionate explain, if you will, to the French people, very much as we saw Keir Starmer doing in the UK over the weekend, explaining why the countries need to spend more on defence, shake up their current sort of spending plans, maybe take from one pile to put in the defence pile. What will happen here on Thursday? Emmanuel Macron will be here with the other 26 European Union leaders. And they've been given a plan by the European Commission president that says, this is how I propose we raise the money for increasing the defence spend of the European nations. And it has several parts to it. And one part would be potentially a 150 billion euro loan. Another part of it could be, as Ursula von der Leyen had laid out, 650 billion euros accumulated from all the 27 nations, spending another 1.5 5% of their GDP on defense spending. It sounds complicated, it sounds cumbersome, and again, this is the difficulty of the EU trying to respond. They have processes, so the leaders will get to decide and then tell the European Commission if this is the way forward, if this is what they want them to do. And only after that, the European Commission goes away, figures out all the sort of details in raising that money. And it's only after that that the countries get to discuss or get into the detail of what spending that money would look like on precisely what and who would build it and how it would be done. So that passionate push by the French president there, it's all about preparing France for these tough decisions, but it's going to be across all those 27 EU nations. Nick Robertson, CNN, Brussels.
And we're now learning the U.S. didn't just pause military aid to Ukraine, but also crucial intelligence sharing. Following Friday's explosive meeting in Washington, the Trump administration appears to have ordered at least a partial halt to the intelligence the U.S. shares with Kyiv to defend against the Russian invasion. The extent of those limitations isn't clear. U.S. officials suggest the pause could be short-lived if President Trump is satisfied that Ukraine is taking steps toward negotiations to end the war.
President Trump said as he asked for a pause. In this case, as everyone saw play out, President Trump had a real question about whether President Zelensky was committed to the peace process. And he said, let's pause. I want to give you a chance to think about that.
But this pause could have dire consequences on the battlefield. The U.S. has provided extensive information on Russian troop movements and intercepted communications about their military plans since the early days of the war. Officials say that's been critical to Ukraine's ability to fight back. For what's believed to be the first time ever, the U.S. is negotiating directly with Hamas about the hostages in the ceasefire in Gaza. This was a abrupt change in policy for the United States, which for decades has refused to engage with groups it considers terrorists. The U.S. declared Hamas a terrorist organization in 1997. No comment yet from Hamas about the negotiations. The White House press secretary explained why the Trump administration is breaking with precedent.
The special honor. Israel was consulted on this matter. And look, dialogue and talking to people around the world to do what's in the best interest of the American people is something that the president has proven is what he believes is good faith effort to do what's right for the American people.
Meanwhile, President Trump issued a blistering new ultimatum to Hamas to release all hostages or, quote, there will be hell to pay. CNN's Jeremy Diamond has the details.
Well, President Trump is making a new effort to try and seek the release of the remaining hostages held in Gaza, issuing a fresh ultimatum to Hamas. In a social media post, the president wrote, quote, release all of the hostages now, not later, and immediately return all of the dead bodies of the people you murdered, or it is over for you. Only sick and twisted people keep bodies, and you are sick and twisted. The president goes on to say that he is going to, quote, be sending Israel everything it needs to finish the job, and saying that not a single Hamas member will be safe if you don't do as I say. He goes on to say that this is Hamas's, quote, last warning, and also issues a warning to the people of Gaza, saying that a beautiful future awaits you, but not if you hold hostages. If you do, quote, you are dead. This certainly isn't the first time that we have heard this kind of tough language from the president being directed at Hamas regarding the remaining hostages being held in Gaza. But this time, it seems to come with a lot more meat on the bone, and it also comes at a very, very delicate moment in this ongoing ceasefire. Phase one of this ceasefire agreement has been completed with the release of 33 Israeli hostages in exchange for more than 1,700 Palestinian prisoners. But now we are in the delicate stage where the U.S. and Israel are both trying to pressure Hamas not to get into phases 2 and 3 of that deal, which would lead to the withdrawal of Israeli troops and the end of the war in Gaza, but instead are trying to impose new conditions on Hamas. We know that Israel has put forward this new proposal to see 6 or 7 more weeks of ceasefire in exchange for the release of half of the remaining living and dead hostages being held in Gaza. And now President Trump with this ultimatum to release all of the hostages immediately or effectively face the wrath of a U.S.-backed Israeli military resuming its war in Gaza. Israel has already begun to block humanitarian aid into Gaza as an effort to pressure Hamas, one that has drawn immense criticism from the international community and human rights groups who have called that a violation of international law. And now, clearly, there is also very much the specter of the Israeli military recommencing its fight in Gaza amid this latest from the president. Hamas is already firing back. The spokesman for Hamas, Hassan Qasem, says that these threats will complicate matters regarding the ceasefire agreement and encourage the occupation government, meaning Israel, not to implement the agreement. He is then calling on the U.S. administration to instead pressure Israel to enter the phase 2 of the ceasefire agreement as was previously scheduled. We've also now learned that the United States has been holding direct conversations with Hamas. Adam Boehler, the special envoy for hostage affairs for the United States, has met with Hamas officials in Qatar, according to a report from Axios. That was effectively confirmed by the White House press secretary, who said that Israel was consulted on this matter and that the talks are, quote, ongoing, but that she would not get into the details. This would be the first time that the United States has engaged in direct talks with Hamas, as far as we know. Jeremy Diamond, CNN, Tel Aviv.
Right now to the tariff war threatening to bring higher prices and economic recession across North America. Donald Trump has decided on a 1-month pause in auto tariffs on Canada and Mexico. The U.S. president says he wants to protect the big 3 U.S. automakers from financial harm. As Jeff Zeleny has details.
President Donald Trump often talks about imposing tariffs, and he's often talked out of actually going through with them. That is exactly what happened at the White House on Wednesday, at least for the big 3 automakers, who have been tremendously concerned about the unfair competitive advantage they said that they would be at with these new tariffs to Canada and Mexico. Ever since the U.S.-Mexican-Canadian trade agreement was passed during the first Trump administration, there has been effectively free trade flowing from Mexico to the United States to Canada, which has benefited the automotive industry, which, of course, have suppliers in all 3 countries. Well, giving a reprieve for the tariffs for 1 month at least offers some relief, but raises questions about what is to come. The market, of course, all week long, the financial markets have been a key concern at the White House. The White House press secretary said this.
For folks on Wall Street who may be concerned, look at what this president did for you in his first term. Wall Street boomed, stock market boomed. The president expects that to happen again, but most importantly, Main Street is going to boom, and that's why the president has this whole of government economic approach, which includes tax cuts, tariffs, regulation cuts, and an energy industry that will bring down costs for American consumers.
Now, Leavitt said the White House is open to additional carve-outs as well. They did not give any specifics on that. But could that be bourbon? Could it be syrup? Could it be gasoline? Other things. The other tariffs are still scheduled to go into effect on April 2nd. Those are the broader reciprocal tariffs. Now, all of this is coming as the Canadian Prime Minister, Justin Trudeau, is trying to urge the White House to back off of those broader tariffs. The President of the United States said he is signing them to protect the U.S. from fentanyl. Of course, Canada is responsible for very little of the fentanyl that actually comes into the United States. More of that, of course, comes from Mexico. About all of this, the Mexican president, Vidya, is scheduled to speak with President Trump on Thursday. Jeff Zeleny, CNN, the White House.
I want to bring in Christopher Clark, who's a professor of economics at Washington State University. Thank you so much for being here with us. So, as we heard, President Trump granted car companies a 1-month reprieve. So, what happens a month from now? Obviously, that's not very long if the president expects companies to move production to the U.S.
Well, the ask to have an entire supply chain that has been set up over the course of 30-plus years to just
Yeah, that's right. So this will just continue after that. Mexican exports. It will also hurt, obviously, the U.S. economy. President Trump said there will be little disturbance here on the table. So, how big of a disturbance are you expecting?
This will be a tax on American family as well over if we keep these 25% tariffs in consideration. This is a significant disturbance. We import a ton of produce from Mexico, Canada. This will make housing even more expensive to construct. It's not the end of the world. The market is going to grow by a percentage point, currently growing at 2.5 percentage points. So just slow down in growth, but certainly living on the market.
Yeah, it's so hard to know and to project because, you know, as some have observed, as often as Donald Trump talks about tariffs, it seems as though almost as often he's talked out of them. It's that sort of whiplash that's creating so much economic uncertainty. What effect does that have?
Oh, this is huge, and this is part of the whole difficulty in trying to understand what's happening. If one day you have a tariff, and literally today, the next day, it's been for some of the economy, the economy that has a more political connection to Washington. But we have 330 million people, $30 trillion of brand new goods and services are produced every year. Part of the long-run engine of growth is investment. And why do businesses take the risk? No one forces them to. They go out, they decide, this is the future, this is the risk I'm going to take, I'm going to build this new business, I'm going to expand my existing operations, and that all requires a certain level of predictability. All of this uncertainty is harming them.
Yeah. Now, we don't know exactly what effect that's having right now, but certainly over the last few weeks, there have been plenty of troubling economic data coming out. Hiring's down, GDP forecast to fall, consumer confidence is down. Now, the Trump administration argues this bad economic data is Biden data, that Trump's only been in office for a couple of months now, not long enough to turn around the economy. Does he have a point?
To an extent, certainly. A lot of the, particularly we can take the GDP Now forecast coming out of the Atlanta Fed that shows a drastic decline. It's a forecast. It's very timely thing that comes out with immediate data, and it's pretty volatile as new data comes in. Another GDP Now forecast from other Feds are not showing such a dramatic decline. So it kind of remains to be certain how quickly things are declining. We're not seeing huge effects in the labor market yet. The labor market is still fairly okay. We're not seeing a dramatic decline yet. My biggest worry is this chain of uncertainty and a chain of lower investment over the course of the next year, 5 years, or 10 years.
Yeah, so much unknown, but one thing we can be certain about is, as you say, the amount of uncertainty. Christopher Clark, thank you so much. Really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
The U.S. Supreme Court voted against the Trump administration's bid to keep foreign aid funds frozen, but it's still not clear when or if billions from USAID will start going out again. Plus, Republicans are pushing Elon Musk for control over the drastic cuts to the federal government. More details on the closed-door meeting between lawmakers and the unelected billionaire. Next, stay with us.
Are you sitting right now? It could be harming your health. Back pain, stress, and serious health risks can build up from sitting too long. But motion changes everything. Introducing Ready Rocker with its patented Rock Perfect design that supports your spine as it helps improve posture, relieve back pain, boost circulation, and release endorphins for your overall well-being, no matter where you are. Lightweight, portable, and covered in memory foam, Ready Rocker instantly transforms any chair or space into a healthier sitting experience.
Sitting too long isn't just uncomfortable, it's unhealthy. With Ready Rocker, we make sitting a healthier experience for people of all ages.
From soothing babies to helping with posture, back pain, and stress, we discovered that walking can truly improve lives.
Sitting is the new smoking. A sedentary lifestyle, whether you're sitting at a desk or in a vehicle all day, is not good for the body to just stay in that same position. And that's why the Ready Rocker is so effective. The rocking motion constantly keeps you active and helps you ease pain, reduces stress. It actually releases endorphins in the brain. It's a mood booster.
I used to be in pain all the time, but with Ready Rocker, I felt relief, and I'm in a better mood. I take it everywhere.
I can literally feel the stress being taken off my joints while rocking.
My back stopped hurting. My arthritis felt better. It's just wonderful.
Now you can join the movement that's changing lives and helping thousands find relief. Call now or go online to get 35% off your purchase. We'll even ship it for free. Plus, you'll get this bonus canvas tote bag.
Ready Rocker is changing lives one rock at a time.
Now it's your turn to experience the relief for yourself.
Call 1-800-591-8973 or go to GetReadyRocker.com. That's 1-800-591-8973 or go to GetReadyRocker.com. Call now.
I'm Gav's dark secret. I hate the dark. My basement is too dark. My garage is too dark. My attic is way too dark. But I've seen the light. Check out the Driver 360 Shop Light Pro from Bell & Howell. I feel like I'm holding the sun. This thing is radically bright. It has a massive 288 high-intensity LED bulbs. It gets better. You see these raised panels? This new technology has 15 different light panels, specifically designed to shine light in more directions so you can see better than ever before. Plus, the panels move so you can put light anywhere you want it. It screws into any light socket. Easy. Check this out. The basement is so bright.
This is an exclusive release of our newest pocket hose. There is a strict limit of 3 per order, so don't wait. Order now.
To order, call 1-800-372-7153 or visit copperbullethose.com. So call 1-800-372-7153 or visit copperbullethose.com. Order now.
Do you have a box of videotapes, film reels, or photos that are degrading? Legacy Box professionally converts them to DVDs, thumb drive, or the cloud. Legacy Box is simple and safe, with over 1 million satisfied customers. Visit legacybox.com today and get 50% off. I'm Nick Payton-Walsh in Kiev, and this is CNN.
Inside Africa, see a continent in transformation as trailblazers evolve culture, technology, and industry across Africa and beyond. Meet the artists and historians preserving Africa's ancestral icons.
Nelson Mandela said that Africa's rock art is the common heritage of Africans, but it is more than that, the heritage of humanity.
Inside Africa on CNN, in association with Zenith Bank.
Photography has always been intriguing because it's a country that is developing so fast, but it also has this rich heritage and culture.
This one is literally childhood.
No matter what happens, oh my God! And so you see these two worlds colliding. This is just incredible. And that's what I'm really excited to go discover and find out more about.
POV Qatar, Saturday on CNN.
Okay, guys, ceremony starts in 5.
One sec, just got a hymns real quick. Hymns? Yeah, hymns. Hymn 2.
Hymns for ED. Always works for me. I'm hymnsing right now. So simple, so convenient.
Weight loss by hymns, boys. You gotta get on it, son.
For care that's doctor trusted, convenient, and personalized. Get started today at hims.com.
Well, you're in the big leagues now.
How was your vacation stay? I needed one.
With your 10% loyalty program discount, that's $225 for the night.
Not bad.
$155 for the night.
Hold up. How?
It's easy when you know where to look. Trivago compares hotel prices from hundreds of sites, so you can save up to 40%. Trivago's my secret technique. Hotel? Trivago.
This is CNN. More people get their news from CNN than any other news source.
Welcome back to all you watching CNN Newsroom around the world. I'm Kim Brunhoover. And support for Ukraine will top the agenda a summit in Brussels in just a few hours. European leaders are meeting at a crucial time as the new Trump administration in the U.S. has paused critical support for Ukraine It made it abundantly clear that Europe needs to invest more in its own defense. On Wednesday, activists gathered near the meeting site and unfurled a giant Ukrainian flag with the words, "Defend Ukraine, defend Europe." They also urged EU leaders to seize frozen Russian assets to support Ukraine. Meanwhile, British King Charles is stepping into international diplomacy involving the U.S. and its allies. But, as Max Foster explains, bridging the gap is a tough balancing act, even for royalty.
Britain's King Charles thrust to the forefront of international diplomacy 3 times in the past week, stepping in on delicate maneuvers between the US and its allies. Despite the traditionally apolitical role of the monarch, the UK hopes to leverage one of its greatest assets when it comes to President Trump: his fascination with the monarchy. The King's invitation for a rare second state visit was delivered to the President by the British Prime Minister Keir Starmer last week, ahead of some tough discussions with the White House on Ukraine.
This is really special. This has never happened before. This is unprecedented. And he's a beautiful man, a wonderful man.
Just days later, the King invited Ukrainian President Zelensky to his country residence in a show of solidarity and an indication of the King's fragile yet influential role at this tense moment.
He's dying to do good and to be a conciliator and to help things along, and he's in a very good position to do it. I think the meeting last Sunday, I would say, passed off extremely well.
Charles has long appeared to side with Ukraine over the war, recently calling Russia's invasion as an indescribable aggression and unprovoked attack.
Well, we've all been worried about you and thinking about your country's.
But now, having to play a delicate dance with Trump as the UK and Europe try to keep him on side, the King also found himself confronted by another US dispute when he hosted Canada's Prime Minister, Justin Trudeau, this week. As Trump slapped tariffs on Canada and declared it should become the 51st state of America, the King, as Canada's ceremonial head of state, again caught between 2 allies. The late Queen Elizabeth, Charles's mother, was one of the few global figures Trump seemed to show real deference to in his last term as president. So this new era of the relationship between Charles and Trump will be a real test for the monarch.
He's met many, many world leaders. He's got a lot to offer, just as the Queen did.
Their first official meeting 5 years ago was rumoured to have not been an instant success.
You had a meeting with Charles, and it was reported by one of your former press secretaries that he was somewhat bored by the meeting.
That I was?
Yeah.
No, I wasn't bored. I like Charles. I thought he was good. No, he's an environmentalist. He talked about the environment most of the meeting, which was fine.
No date set.
Alright, I'm going to bed. This is pissing me off. It's been real. It's been fun. Let's do it again. I don't know when. I think tomorrow, aka tomorrow. See y'all later. Hopefully this doesn't happen tomorrow.